There were a couple of things in the feature release, the 6.8.0 feature release, I forgot to mention in the previous video. So I'm adding an additional video here. One thing is a very minor UI update. Sometimes, when you're here in the modules in the project root, you're in code domain. And when you are in features, you're in the business domain where you'll have the feature files and all the scenarios. So one thing we did was we just changed this accent color a little bit. So this displays as purple and here it displays as blue. And that means that when you're, for instance, further down the tree, you're going to kind of know that if you, let's say here, I change to features and I go down here, I still see it's purple. So I'm not confused that I'm in the code domain, even if I can see that from the icon here. So it makes that a little bit clearer. Another thing we did is in the API tests now, if I pick an API test, as you can see here, let's close this down. Now, when you have an object, we just show it as object here or array. And if you want to see the details when you send it to an API as a parameter, you need to open it with a pop-up window, and of course you can edit it inside here in this window. And then the last thing that we did that I forgot to mention was, of course, when we work with scenario mapping, of course there were a whole lot of things we did there to make sure to make this all the scenarios to map easily to show this view. But what we also understood was that when you have a scenario, let's take one that hasn't been matched, that this selection box here, when you want to take a test step and link this to a test, it was a little bit complicated. So what we did was, now you have this go to test here, this drop down, and then here, as soon as you select, you can just type freely in whatever you want, for instance, and you get a filter and you can select anything here to match it. And of course, if you match it, you can just, again, if you map this one, now, if you need to change it, you will simply just type here something else to change this, for instance, whatever you need, right? So I think this is a little bit easier. And of course, this goes for all the plug test cases. So that's it for this feature release. Let us know if you have any ideas or improvements.